Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. That's me, Chris Mallard. Waking up. I hope you had a great weekend. What the hell? What's going on? Hold on, just it's Monday. Okay, yeah. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm tired. It was late night and an early morning, and just a little brain dead. More so than normal. We're going to talk about some things. I see some things going on in the chat. We'll visit about that in just a moment. But good morning, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you sinned safely. I hope you did all the things at the place with the stuff and the people. And I hope you did it safely. Good morning.
Today's world is confusing, and there's too much information for one person to make sense of it all. Which credit card should I pay off first? Is non-fat milk good for me? Who should I vote for? Let's face it, if you can't figure out high-interest milk, then how can you be expected to make political decisions that influence a country of over 325 million people? Well, that's why there's fascism. Fascism is the political, social, and economic system for today's world. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines fascism as a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts a nation, and often race, above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of the opposition. Choose this ideology and life will be easy. Did you ever look at someone who uses really big words and think, I wish those libs would just disappear? Well, under fascism, your dreams can come true. Under fascism, you won't have to worry about the pesky little things like brown people or atheists, or who in your country is entitled to basic human rights and who is not. Hint, hint, the answer is nobody. Yes, friends, this truly is the final solution you've been looking for. And if you're concerned if this form of authoritarianism will be up to your high standards, don't worry. American fascism will be the best fascism in the world because it's been endorsed by Jesus. So go out and destroy freedom and democracy by getting fascism today. Paid for by the Fascio-Conservative Party, formerly known as the GOP.
All right, we are back. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to hit this little button here now so I don't have to do it later. Do it again. There we go. Am I here? I am here. It's just sweet as see. Good morning. I hope you had a great weekend. Good morning, Kelly Shearer. Good morning, Miss Don Sequitur. Hi, hi, hi. Flockmeister says it's shower time. I don't believe it. Good morning, Flocky. I hope you had a great weekend. Secular Femalist. I want to mention we do have somebody, CHR_my. Good morning. Said, stuff. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. Thank you for sharing that with us. I don't think it is. Is that the first commandment? I'm not really sure. I'd have to go look. I thought it was, thou shalt worship no other God before me. But and then the second is according to CHR, love your neighbor as yourself. Interesting. Those are interesting commandments. Didn't Jesus also say, obey your master? Slaves, obey your master. It said that too, right? Also said that if you sin in your mind, you have sinned. So thought crime. Jesus also said, you are not my family if you are not part of the same crazy cult that I'm part of. Jesus also said, leave everything, take nothing. Tomorrow doesn't exist. It's over. But he did say something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. Didn't Jesus also say, hey, man, if you check out a lady's ass, you really should pluck out your eye? Because if you did that, you've sinned in your mind. And your eye, apparently, needs to suffer. Because if you don't pluck out your eye, you're going to burn in hell forever. Jesus said that. Jesus also said that he was going to come back and murder billions of people. Didn't he? Him and his angels. I mean, Jesus said a lot of shit, to be fair. Quite a chatty little person who didn't write his own book. Leave evil, leave stupidity, leave egotism, leave Islam, leave woke nonsense. It's the moral thing to do. Okay, so you actually should leave Christianity. It's the moral thing to do. Being a Christian is immoral. IMO. right? Based on your average, what we think is normal moral activity, Christianity is immoral. Is it not? I mean, you're right here. You're very, just in this thing here, it wouldn't be so bad. Leave evil makes sense. Leave stupidity. That's like a struggle of your own. Leave egotism. Again, self-soothing. Leave Islam. I don't know what the fuck Islam ever had to do with anything. Leave woke nonsense. What is woke nonsense? Express to me, Christian person who's supposed to love everybody and be gentle and kind and turn the other cheek and to love thy neighbor as yourself. Explain to me what woke is. Do you know what woke is? Any idea? Really? I mean, my general basic understanding is woke is essentially trying to make sure everybody's treated equally and has an equal opportunity, treated fairly, equal pay, equal rights, etc. That's what woke essentially is. And you sling it as a slur, like a good Christian. And you know why? Because according to you, gays are immoral. Trans people are immoral because your God creature says so. And therefore, woke is bad because we're calling for you to respect those people. And you can't have that shit. You see how common decency offends Christianity? Doesn't it? Yeah, they just want to live their lives. That's all they want. They don't force their shit on you. They're not the ones going door to door handing out pamphlets talking about how gay they are. Christians are the ones going around pushing Christianity. Right? And yet, woke. Gotta get off that woke. Or you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Wow. Good morning. And of course, CHR, I just want to mention, all of your other things are indeed fantastic. If Jesus said that, I'm kind of, man, my brain is mush this morning, so bear with me. But I mean, remember, all of that is love your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Or you're going to burn in fucking hell. You're going to burn in hell forever if you don't love God the way you. Now, here's the interesting part, mon ami. Is that how much is all your heart? What do you mean all your heart and all your soul and all your mind? There's like levels there. And so, you did a pretty good job. You're not a slacker, my friend. You're not. Look at you here in the atheist chat, defending your evil God monster. Look at you. But when you get to heaven and you get up there and you're going to see these like levels, everybody's gonna have these little levels above their head. It's gonna be like, how much did you do with all your heart? Was it not all your heart? Oh, look, CH, you didn't do it with all your mind. It was all your heart. It was all your soul, but you had doubts. Your mind, the logic part of your mind had doubts, and so you did not follow all three. So, whoop, ching, ching, and a little floor thing falls out from under you, and you go, all the way down to hell. Fun, huh? What an interesting God monster. That's the whole thing. It's not just friends, Christians. You all seem to think the other ones are going to hell. If you're not a Catholic, obviously the Catholics are not doing it right. If you're a Catholic, everybody else obviously is going to hell. Gnashing of teeth, gnashing of teeth. So you're all going to hell. And it's, but let's just pretend, let's just imagine, let's just focus our minds for a moment and imagine that, say, the Seventh-day Adventists are the ones who have it right. Lucky them. That's great. That's awesome. Just imagine being a Seventh-day Adventist and you get that text, you're like, what? We got it right. Shit. What, really? And they're like, yeah, but you weren't hot enough for the Lord. I mean, you were part of the right group, but you just weren't hot enough for the Lord. You didn't sacrifice every week. You didn't tithe every week. You didn't love with all your heart, because apparently there's a subjective line somewhere that separates the wheat from the chaff. Those who believe and those who do not believe. Those who speak with their hearts and those who do not. So you Christians come in here, you atheists better believe. Well, shit, I can't make myself believe. If I did, I'm like, all right, I'm going to be a Christian now. Jesus is going, man, I read your heart. I know that that's just a bunch of bullshit. So it's just like spiritual masturbation. does nothing really. It's not propagating the spiritual species. You're just making yourself sort of feel good for a little while. Am I right? I like being right. It tingles, especially down here. Good morning, everyone. Let's see. Carl is here. Did Carl have something nice to say? No, probably not. Miss Non-Sequitur says, the amazing Super Chris. Indeed. Let me just clear off some of these pins that I've got here. Good morning, Kelly. Sure, you're... Jay says, Chris, you are just pissed that Jesus said you can't go around looking at women's asses. I do that all the time. I don't really see... Listen, Jay, my friend, brother. Jesus wasn't talking to me. Technically, come in, lean close. Unless you're a Jew of the region of Judea, Jesus wasn't talking to you either. That's all Paul. Remember? Paul made up the Gentile religion of Christianity. But Jesus was just talking to the Jews. Anyway, I'm pissed. No, I don't think I'm pissed. I mean, let me ask you, Jay. Let's talk about this for a moment. I mean, I don't really believe Jesus is there judging me for that. If anybody's judging me for that, it's the evil one, if she sees me. But it's usually her ass I'm looking at anyway. So these things are arbitrary. You're the one that actually is supposed to feel bad about looking at women's asses, right? Not me. You. Do you not look at women's asses? Did you notice that Jesus is like, when you fucked up and you need forgiveness, you come to me. Oddly, though, whenever he was going through that whole, if your eye offends you, pluck it out. He didn't actually stop and say, if your eye offends you, come to me and ask for forgiveness. Did he? No, he did not. He did not. Kinky. He said, if your eye offends you, pluck it out. It's better to go into heaven with one eye than to go into hell for two. But there's no hell, right? There's no hell. Don't worry about that. And then another place Jesus says it's better to spend an eternity in heaven with one eye than an eternity in hell with two, I believe. Paraphrasing, but I believe those kind of time expanses were indeed used. So those of you Christians out there are like, there's no hell. Oh, there's no hell. Jesus is just going to separation from God. No, I mean, just according to Jesus. But again, I mean, really, if you know like the real text and all that, but we don't talk about that shit here, do we? Because Christians don't know nothing about that. Anyway, let's see. Nicholas Deparis, good morning, says, I left the cult, the PDF file cult, many years ago, and now my life is so much better. Thank you, Nicholas. I want to... Good morning, Nicholas. You said you left the PDF file cults and you feel better. It's so sad, hilarious, maybe in my mind. Maybe it's because I'm crazy tired. It's sad that I would have to say, could you be more specific? There are so many PDF file cults. Are you talking about Catholicism specific? Are you talking about like overall Christianity? Are you talking about Islam? Wait a second, wasn't it Judaism where they were selling their children, their daughters for coin? Tough call. You'd have to be more specific if you don't know. Mine. Good morning. Hippie Speedball on board. I just thought it was cute. When it hit my mind when you said a PDF call, I was like, oh man, okay, but which one? Just hit me as funny. I mean, but sad, right? But funny. Anyway, good morning. Slizra, good morning. Whether you accept the scripture around him or not, Jesus did exist. Okay, maybe he existed. All right, so we'll Slizra, good morning, Slizra. Jesus may have existed. He may have. There's not a lot. I don't know, and I'm open to it. I don't know that there is any contemporary legitimate evidence that Jesus was a real person. I heard recently, according to Bart Ehrman, that there may be a letter from Pilate to somebody that mentions Jesus. So that might be interesting to find out. I want to know about that. But other than that, if that's not true, right now let's put that over to the side. If that is unreal, then there is zero contemporary evidence for Jesus. No more evidence for Jesus being a real person than for Zeus or for Thor or for any of those other mythical creatures. I wouldn't be surprised if he was. It's like saying, Stan Lee, when Stan Lee was a kid, he knew a guy named Peter Parker. And Peter Parker, man, he was agile. Maybe Peter Parker was like into, parkour, but back for the day. And that really inspired Stan Lee. Yeah, so there may have really been a Peter Parker. Could Peter Parker climb buildings and walls and shoot webs out and do all the things that Spider-Man can do? No. There may have been a real Jesus. I can give you that. But that doesn't mean he was real, or that he was powerful, or that there was anything divine about him at all. Even if he's real, doesn't matter. And if you've listened to Christian apologetics, they will mislead you and tell you there's there's more evidence for Jesus than there is for Julius Caesar, and that's a lie. It's a lie. They are intentionally misleading you. If that's what you're spouting out in the chat and any of your Christians, it's just a lie. The histories of Julius Caesar were written decades, if not a century or more after Julius Caesar. Indeed, that is true. Those are histories written by people who lived long after him. It was like, hey, man, let's write a story about this dude. There's history. That's cool. But there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of contemporary writings about Julius Caesar from other people. Like, hey, this Julius Caesar bastard came through our town and did stuff, and he's an asshole. See, what I mean by that is that it's not just fan fiction about Julius Caesar. And then, of course, Julius Caesar did indeed write his own book. Unlike Jesus. Jesus didn't write his own book, did he? So Jesus didn't write his own book. There are no contemporary, to my understanding, sources that actually state Jesus was a real person. Unless this pilot letter that I need to look into, right? And even then, that doesn't mean that there could have been just a coincidence in name. I mean, but beyond that, we'll just set that aside for now. But yeah, so Jesus may not have existed as a person. However, I'm down. I'm not against it. I mean, I would think it'd be an interesting part of the story, especially if we found like a trove of information that verified Jesus, that told us things about him that we don't know. I would think that would be fantastic. Potentially extremely dangerous to your religion. That's a little nest egg you might not want to open up. Just imagine we found literal proof that Jesus was a real person. He had his own things that he possessed. He wrote it down. We got DNA evidence, whatever you need, and we've got it all right there. And you're like, oh my goodness, Jesus, it's real. It's proven that he was a real person. That's all it's proven at this point, right? But when you get in there and you find like this Jesus that you believe in was really based on a real person, and you find out that he was a homosexual, and his writings, he has his love letters or whatever to other men and stuff like that, or whatever. How would you feel? I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying there are possible things that if, just be careful what you wish for, Christians. When Jesus was hiding like a coward up at Gethsemane, begging God, oh, I don't want to do it. But he was willing. I mean, he's like, I don't want to do it. He said he didn't want to do it. Please take this cup away from me. There's any way this can go, God, hey, can you imagine that though? All right, check this out. Work with me here, kids. Work with me. You got a 6-year-old son, and you get a letter from the teacher that says your 6-year-old son has been bad. So the son comes in and gives you the letter, and you're like, I've been bad. And so now you have a choice. You can beat the shit out of your son or not. Who is going to make that decision for you? You are. Is there somebody above you that's going to go, hey, you didn't beat that kid? Is there somebody above God that made God demand that? If not, then God is just fucking disgusting and hideous. Anyway, Jesus, it's very possible Jesus did not live. But if he did, it doesn't mean he was divine. Let's see, Chris, you're just pissed at Jesus. You cannot go around. Yeah, that's all you, Jay. Sorry if you're still going on about yourself. Let's see, Slizzerus says Jesus did exist, whether you accept the scripture around him or not. Okay, cool. Yeah, I got that. Let's see. My chat's behind. Sorry. Yeah, so Different perspectives. You're talking to Miss Nelson. Okay, cool. You guys are doing the thing. Let's see. Miss Angelus Rhea. Miss Angelus Rhea, we don't appreciate that. Yeah, I'm an old guy. It's not necessarily a thing for me, but I've grown as a person and realized that offends other people, and therefore I don't use it, and I ask people not to use it in my chat. You know what I'm talking about. So if you don't mind, please don't. The R word, in case you don't know, maybe you don't know. The R word, if you don't mind, please don't use it. Ask kindly. Yeah. Call me a fuckface or whatever. No fuckfaces will go, oh shit. Compared to that guy, in order to do so, you've got to admit you're a fuckface. But be cool about that, if you don't mind. I mean, yeah, respect that and we'll be cool. Mostly. Anyway, so these are kind of my things. Let me see where I was going off about myself here. So Jesus may not have been divine, but he may have been a real person. I wouldn't be surprised. Muhammad was a real person. I mean, as far as I know, there's some scuttlebutt that he may not have been a real person. I would see some science on it if they had it. But Jesus being a real person wouldn't affect my beliefs at all. Nightbot doesn't do anything about slurs. No, I told it that's on purpose. I told it to, that specific one. So it's working. And I mean, Nightbot, that's lovely, but you know how many hours it would take to rebuild all that shit? I mean, I appreciate it, but right now it works. It's good enough. If I need to, if a wonderful individual continues to be uncouth, then I can ban them if I see it, or somebody can tell me and I'll ban them. It's just, it is. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's see. The not operator. Well, it's a good thing I don't live by. Yeah, true enough. There are many accounts of his existence and notes written by him. There. Who are you talking about? Oh, Muhammad. Okay, there is very little evidence Muhammad wasn't real. Saw? Oh, cute. I don't care. I don't care if Muhammad was real and my understanding of who he was is anywhere near accurate. He was a horrific person. Absolutely horrific. We don't even have to go to the hard parts. I mean, we always go to Aisha and how he did this with her and all that other stuff. But, there's this... They're all religions of blood. They are. If you're a Christian and you're chatting, why don't you talk about Muslim? I don't like Islam. I do not like Islam. It's not here. It's just not bothering me. It's not up in my grill. But they're all blood cults. They're all bloody, bloody, bloody religions. Now, of course, not all the people in them are. No. We know that. And it's really the more fundamentalist you are, the more dangerous you are to be. The closer you are to following the rules of your actual fundamental religion, the more dangerous you are to society. Right? It's the ultra fundamentalist Muslims are cutting people's heads off and slashing their throats. Daniel Pearl, etc. Same thing with the Christians. David Koresh, anyone? Jim Jones, anyone? Wait a second. Oh, it's just the Muslims. No. It's not just the Muslims. And you can take Christianity sure has chilled off a little bit. It's had 700 more years than Islam to find itself and to chill out, to find the love, sort of, that it claims to push. Christianity is a religion of love. Islam is a religion of peace or some business. Depends on how you look at it. Yeah, there'll be peace when they kill everybody that's not a Muslim. Depends on how you see it, We don't want to fall into all of that business, though, do we? Good morning, Billy Boy says following Jesus's way is harmful for society. Interesting. Oh, you're asking that as a question. Yeah, Billy Boy, indeed it is. Can be. It can be harmful for society. Yeah, there are a number of ways Christianity could be considered harmful for society. You know, there's things like we could talk about the abortion issue, where Christians force their religion on other people. And so other people who are not Christian end up dying in parking lots because they can't get an abortion that they needed medically, but that the Christian, you know, because who decides when it's important enough? Who makes that decision as to whether the woman's life is in danger enough? Who makes that decision? Well, guess what happens whenever you pass laws based on your religious bullshit? You get doctors going, hello, lawyer person, I've got this woman in she's really, really bad. She is, but if I do this, I'll lose my license, I'll be sued, I'll be arrested. What do I do? Oh, wait. She died. Oh, okay. Never mind. Another one gone. Thank you. Yeah. And you do know, let's talk about Christianity for a minute. You do know it's an apocalyptic cult, right? You know that, right? You people are waiting. You're like, you people are waiting for the end of the end days, right? Jesus is going to come back and save you and take you all. And then what's going to Jesus do? What's Jesus going to do? What's he going to do? You know what he's going to do. It's Revelation. Meek and mild Jesus. You know what he's going to do. He's going to murder billions of people. Billions. Him and his angels are coming down, murder billions of people. Anybody who doesn't believe the way Jesus thinks you should. Jesus is going to come murder you and your family and your little children. Yeah. And you know, you're like, oh no, Jesus wouldn't murder little children, but Jesus is God. Jesus is the God of the Old Testament, remember? Oh, big mean God. Jesus himself comes back and says he's going to kill all who are wicked and all who do sin. Now, you go look at the Old Testament and you see where the God creature divides between children, what he thinks about killing children. You remember that cute little story where some of Moses's army didn't murder all the women and children, and Moses and the God creature got mad at them for not murdering all the women and children? And then told them to murder all the boy children, all the men, all the women who had known a man, and to keep the virgin girls for yourselves as sex slaves. You think Jesus, when he comes back in Revelations and destroys all that's wicked, you think he's going to spare the children? That's cute. You're very cute. Oh, you're so cute. Innocent, meek, mild, stupid. Good morning, Christians.
Do you have a loved one who's on their deathbed, but they've yet to give themselves up to the Lord?
Are you sure you don't want to come to Jesus?
No.
This is your final chance.
No. Worried they're headed to the fiery pits of hell.
Your very last chance.
No. I've been wicked and sinful. I deserve to burn in the hot place.
As you wish. Farewell, my heathen husband.
Farewell, my... Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of post-mortem baptismal kits. No more worries about being miserable alone forever. Be a good Christian and share that eternal pain and suffering with the ones you love. I'm in hell. Not as hot as I thought it'd be. Kind of feels like Houston, minus the humidity. Hello. My favorite drink crafted to perfection. Ooh, and some dank ass weed.
I can't bear to be down on my face chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord, every day, all day, for all eternity, by myself.
Wow, is that George Carlin? And Alan Turing, look at that. Carl Sagan, I am so honored. You've been my hero since I was a kid. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Schrodinger's heathen. Very cute, you. Very cute. That's fantastic. Oh, what is that? What is... It's holy water. Oh, it burns. No, this isn't where I want to be. Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Marlboro? No! Father Flanagan's post-mortem baptismal kit. Dead kid tested, Mother Teresa approved. Is that the Pope and John Paul? Jim Jones and Jimmy Swaggart, huh? I can see that coming. Neil deGrasse, what are you doing? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Father Flanagan.
Damn them to an eternity in heaven for only $59.99. They wouldn't appreciate it, but you'll feel better, and that's the point, isn't it? Get yours now. Your heathen loved one's time is running out. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is some bullshit. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. The Not Operator says we need another Father Flanagan video where he opens an adult corner store for Christians. Yeah, that's a good one. We'll talk. That's cute. Chuck Pike, good morning. Chuck says God murdered more people in the Bible than Satan. Satan only killed Job's family with God's permission. Hey, Satan. I'm sorry, Chuck. I'm sorry, Satan. I don't know which one you'd be offended. Anyway. Good morning, Chuck. Here's a little tidbit of factoid knowledge, possibly that, God, Satan didn't actually kill those people. You and I are on the same page, and you technically, literally have it exactly backwards, kind of. Satan didn't kill those people with God's permission. God killed those people with Satan's determining which one to die. Okay, so when you go read it, they actually Satan comes to whoever comes to God and says, what about this guy? And he says, this guy's awesome and all that. And then the next day, after Satan says, go ahead and go destroy them, or God, sorry. Satan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult you. Whenever God says, go do what you will against these people, that's all cool. And it makes it sound like Satan's going to go do some bad shit. But when he comes back, the next time Satan goes, hey man, how's Job doing? How's your buddy? And he's like, hey, Job's doing damn all right. Though you moved me to destroy him. So God actually takes credit for destroying Job's family and his things. It was Satan who pointed them out. Go here and do those. But it was God's power that did it. And he takes credit for it. That's interesting. Good morning. Chuck Pike, let's see. Disciple of Christ says the people of God the people God wanted killed were not fully human. They were part fallen angel and part wicked. I'll pin that for just a moment. Little Monkey 5 says, can you actually tell us why you don't believe in Christ and stop ranting about it? I could go on about that. There's so many reasons. You haven't really proven, first of all, why I should believe in Jesus Christ at all, really. No reason. None. Prayer doesn't work. If prayer worked, then what's God's purpose at all? There's no plan, because you're just going to come along and pray it different, right? And if there's no plan, and so God already knew you were going to pray for that. Wait a second. So if there is a plan and God knows everything, then God created this universe and billions of people knowing with the knowledge that they were going to fall and going to spend eternity in damnation, hell, gnashing of teeth. What a fucking God that is. Interesting. So let's unpin this right here. I don't want to unpin that one. Let's the little monkey, because the little monkey comes back there and says, you can tell that to Jesus on Judgment Day. Really? That's a threat. That's a threat, right? Your religion is based on a threat. It's so ridiculous you have to have faith. Because it's so ridiculous. Have faith. Because you wouldn't believe this shit otherwise. And then if you're too smart to have faith, then they use the fear on you. Oh yeah, but if you don't believe this ignorant bullshit, you're going to burn for eternity. Now, we did have, let me just, Disciple of Christ, I want to now address what you said. And this is Chuck Pike says, Disciple of Christ said the people God wanted killed were not fully human. They were part fallen angel and part wicked. Chuck Pike responded, so you're saying God created subhuman people to kill them. That's what you're saying. I would actually think that they would be above human, more human than subhuman, anyway. But anyway, I'm digging it. No, here's the deal though. if we're talking about what I'm talking about, whenever Jesus Christ talks about he's going to come back and murder billions of people, we're not talking about subhuman people. We're not talking about fallen angels. The fuck are you talking about? You're not talking about that, are you? That can't be what, pardon my language, disciple of Christ. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, you're not talking about Jesus, right? You're not saying Jesus is going to come back and kill subhuman creatures. That's not what you're saying, is it? When Jesus comes back in the Revelation. So you sweet and loving Christian, pray, Jesus, I can't wait till the day Revelation happens and comes back and Jesus carries me bodily into heaven. I mean, that's cool, isn't it? But there's always the other side of that coin that, I mean, you just don't think about, do you? They're going to come back and murder billions of people. If it's true, if Jesus is real, you're praying for the murder of billions of people. There's no clue or indication that it's going to be a merciless thing. The Revelations goes quite into, I think, like 7 years of really shit times. God's going to milk this one. Now, the demons we're talking, the half-humans, no, these are people. These are people. And these are, I'm going to just blank it out. Pardon me if I'm Jesus, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I don't mean to misspeak, are you? But we're talking about all the Muslims, all the Jews, Zoroastrians, anybody who isn't a Christian. How many is that? How many is that? Is that it's like a big number, you know? I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of people. But even then, if you're a Christian, you know that God says not all of you, we're in the chat. Not all Christians are going to be temperature enough, hot enough, be the right type of Christian. None of those things. So many Christians are going to be slaughtered too. They're going to be in their homes wondering why it is God and his angels are kicking in their doors. God, Jesus, whoever, are kicking in their doors and dragging them into the streets and throwing them into furnaces with the gnashing of teeth. They're going to be, well, like, why? I prayed to you. Well, you know, not all who call my name, right? Not all who seek will find, right? So Jesus is talking. Now you're just thinking I'm full of shit. And you might not be wrong. But about this, Matthew 13, 41, 42, the Son of Man, this is Jesus speaking. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. Who is that? Who are all who cause sin and all who do evil? That's what is sin. You have to define what sin is and what evil is. Sin and evil are things, anything the Christian Judeo-God does not like, correct? It doesn't really matter if it's right or wrong or if it's good or bad. Sin and evil is an opinion of a God. That's what it is. Moses and the God creature thought it was sinful for his generals to not murder all the women and children. Therefore, it was sinful. I'll say it slower. It was sinful for them not to murder all the women and children. Right? Since that's what God wanted. God wanted every man, woman, and child, except for girls who had not had sex, to be murdered. Therefore, that is good. And to not do so is what? What is it to not do so? It is sinful and wicked. Wrong? Am I wrong? I don't feel wrong. Normally when I feel wrong, there's like a puckering back in the back, but I don't feel wrong this time. So what is sinful? What is wicked? You don't really know, do you? And again, maybe it's all the Episcopalians are the ones that are getting it right. And you're an Episcopalian, and you're like, son of a bitch, I got it right. And all of a sudden your door's getting kicked in. There's an angel raising up his sword to kill you and your small child. And you're like, why? And they're like, well, you know, it's supposed to be tithing 10%. 10%, bitch. I needed my cut. You did not give me my cut. but you're the moral ones. That's what you pray for. You hope for that, the end time, the revelation. You hope and pray, yay, someday Jesus is going to come back. Jesus is not going to kill half demons and shit like. Jesus is going to murder men, women, and their children, babies in their fucking cradles, because that's what they do. Haven't you read the Bible? I mean, Jesus' whole bag is, yeah, love thy neighbor, but if you don't do what I say, you're going to fucking burn. How much did you love your neighbor? Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. You didn't love them enough. Burn, 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 burn. And then you're sitting, if you're sitting out there thinking, well, Jesus said to protect the children. Well, we know recently we learned that Jesus wasn't talking about children, was he? He was using children as a metaphor for his followers. So if anybody harms these children of mine who believe in me, they will just as well have a millstone hung around their neck. He wasn't talking about children. He was just using a child as a metaphor. Fuck the children. Just look at the entirety of his church. That seems to be their motto. And interesting that he wasn't talking about a child, but he was using a child. He was using a child as a metaphor, but he was using a child. Huh. Let's see, did I upset somebody? So I'm sure I probably did. I've been going on about myself. And Little Monkey's God is really mad and going to be really ugly with me when we're done. Again, kind of what's the point? I mean, if you read the Bible and I've said words, this chattering monkey said words that have offended the evil God monster so much. It's so much worse than hurting children, murdering anybody. It's so much worse than that. This chattering monkey said words that offended the God creature. And that enough is the unforgivable sin. I mean, I can see God going, oh my goodness, I can't believe you said it about me. Oh, right? Am I right? But no, the unforgivable sin is talking bad about an imaginary person, creature, monster, whatever. Right? Matthew chapter 3. Mark chapter 3. Apologies. Right? Hey man, authors of the Bible, I'm sorry. I get it wrong every now and then. They watch. Donata. Kelly, good morning, Kelly Laughlin. Everlasting life. And also everlasting death. Is that not true? Yes. Oh, look at that. Little monkey is so cute. You're so cute. Oh, I got to pin this. So, little monkey. You probably should leave now. Because I'm going to say things that are going to probably hurt. You're not going to like them. There's going to be a lot of la, 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 la. You can't say you weren't warned. So, Little Monkey 5 posted one of my so much favorites, John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. So is your point that God's not going to come back and murder billions of people? Is that your point? He so loved the world. He gave his only begotten son. Is that kind of your point? Remember, it goes on though, doesn't it? Right there, you even typed it. So that those who believe in him shall not perish. Only those who believe in him. Everybody else is fucking dead. Murder, death, killed by the billions. Your God creature right there is telling you that Jesus is, or whomever, God is going to kill everybody that doesn't believe the way they want you to. Everybody. All right. So that only those who believe in him will be saved. Oh, sure. He loved the world. The world is pretty cool. People suck. We really suck. And so he loved the world so much that he gave his only begotten son so his followers, that narrow few group of people, could be saved and have eternal life on this. Well, wait a second though. That's very interesting. So you're into child sacrifice, little monkey? That's cool with you? Is it cool with you? Child sacrifice cool with you? So, I mean, they used to sacrifice goats and sheep and ducks and shit. I'm probably not ducks so much, but you know, hey, it happens, I'm sure. That's cool with you. So work with me here, little monkey. You, little monkey, you were bad. You were at the grocery store and you stole something. And now you're at home and you're feeling bad because you're not a thief. And you want to get into heaven, and God creature will not let you into heaven if you don't absolve yourself of that sin. And so you go out in the backyard and you get a cute little innocent bunny out of his little bunny cage. And you bring him in the living room. And because you, my friend, you have done harm, it makes sense to hurt that bunny and shed its blood. So your God creature won't be mad at you and let you into heaven. It won't let you in, right? That all makes sense to you. Every step of that little process. So you've been a shit individual. You've done horrific. And so now a bunny, you have to go hurt something innocent to make your God not mad at you. So you technically go become a more shitty person, don't you? Interesting. So now let's have another little thought experiment, my monkey friend. So I like this one. This is fun. Ooh, let's use you. Do you have any kids? Little monkey, got any kids? Here we go. Check this out. So you got some kids. I hope you got kids. Years and ages would be nice if you got them. You know, how old they are. How many? You are 10. Son of a bitch. Little monkey, if you're really 10, this is probably a good place for you to be. You should probably be watching this. This is important. Rough language. Things get rough. I talk ugly. I say bad things because, right, this is where you expect to go. You don't go to bad places and expect them to talk like holy people do, you? So you shouldn't be surprised if I use bad language. You should expect to anticipate it. I'm just saying. So let's talk about, let me continue that year 10. That's perfect. Okay, let's do it like this then. Here's a new twist on our subject. I am your dad. Let's pretend. We're pretending now, okay? So I'm your dad. And because our person in the chat alleged us to be 10, so I'm your dad, and we're having a talk now. I need to talk with you, son. I pull you into the room, and I'm like, listen, man, we got a problem. You got to be strong for me, kid. Okay, you got to be strong for me. Here's what happened yesterday. You know, things are tight. You know, so I went down and I robbed the local convenience store. I know God creature says not to rob shit, right? So I feel bad. It's been fucking with me all night long. I probably wouldn't say that in our real 10-year-old conversation, you know. But you know, I mean, it's really been bad. I feel bad because I robbed that store. And in order to get into heaven and to not keep God being mad at me for doing that wrong, instead of going and giving the money back, instead of apologizing to those people, I don't have to do those things. None of those things are mentioned at all. What I need to do is I need to sacrifice you. You're my son. I have to sacrifice you. And if I kill you, my 10-year-old son, then God will no longer be mad at me and I can get into heaven. So I need you to be strong for me because I've done wrong. You need to now be sacrificed. Does that make sense? Is that a good father? Am I a good father when that happens? And then, all right, so now I've got a better story for you. Remember how I said earlier that the more innocent the creature, right? Okay. So let me tell you the story again. So, son, let's have a talk. I need your help. I need your help. Yesterday I was at the grocery store and I robbed the grocery store, and on my way out a guard told me to stop, and I pulled my gun and I shot the guard, and he died. And so my sin is that much worse. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's not 10-year-old kind of bad. It's really bad. I mean, you're 10 and I could sacrifice you for this, but this is really bad. We need somebody really innocent. So what I need you to do is I need you to go in the other room and get your little son, your little brother, your little 4-year-old brother, get him by the hand and bring him in here. And we'll say some prayers. We could try to explain it to him why we're fixing to sacrifice him to God, Monster, but he won't understand. So we're just going to do it and, make it quick. Okay. So bring him in here and we're going to do that. So does that make sense to you? Because I've been an even more bad person. Something even more innocent has to suffer. Well, let's apply that to Jesus. Jesus is so pure and innocent because he's paying for the sins of the world, right? Right? He's the ultimate perfect person. He's so sinless, so innocent. That's why. That's the chain of events you're following. Wait a second. I'm sorry. My 3-year-old son was not innocent enough. Okay. You know what I mean? This is where that's going. Does any of that make sense? Does murdering your own child to make you feel like a better person and to make your God creature not mad at you and let you into his playground, does that make sense? Now let's take this a little step further. So I hope none of them, I hope all of that is just grotesque. I hope you recoil at the thought of a human sacrifice, especially a human firstborn sacrifice, a child sacrifice. I hope you go, oh my goodness, that's disgusting. Do you think that's disgusting? Would you sacrifice your baby brother? If you're an adult, would you sacrifice your child? If you are, that's scary. What if you had a medical some of your medication had problems and conflicted with each other and what's not, and you had a delusion that God told you to kill your children? How likely would you? Would you? So none of that really makes sense, does it? I mean, and when it does, when you're like, oh shit, it does make sense when you know that's what God creature wants. And you're like, God doesn't want that. Well, let's circle back all the way around. All the way to the beginning of this little conversation. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. God committed child sacrifice for you. Not even to absolve himself, to make himself feel better. No. He went in there and he grabbed that innocent baby out of that crib and he carried it in there and he placed it on the altar and he raised the bloody knife for you. How do you feel about that? Proud? That baby was noble. Noble. It gave itself willingly, despite the fact the baby said 3 times, please don't make me go through with this. All of this makes sense. None of this is hideous and disgusting. But you can't really listen to me, my friend. Don't listen to me. I am the serpent, right? So.
Finnegan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Finnegan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Puppius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalop the Fifth.
Your popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Finnegan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms? Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
Not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
The sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that,
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
true. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label, a warning label on the box, not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your popedom. Would there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
All right, we're back. I got some information for you, some of my friends, my ignorant Christian friends. I appreciate you for joining us. When I say I'm the serpent, I want you to go look at Genesis chapter 3, and you will find that God lied to Adam and Eve, and the serpent was the one telling you the truth. I'm not going to waste a lot of time right now explaining that to you. Go read. You'll see. Go read. GCW Obo says, even our morality doesn't earn us salvation. Our salvation is through by grace. Sorry, that's not what I wanted to say. So I must have pinned the wrong thing. You said something else that I wanted to. Okay, so I wanted to finish, though. Little Monkey, remember, you were reading it. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten, that is a child sacrifice. Actually, technically, it's the first breach of the womb, according to whenever God demanded firstborn children, it was the first breach of the womb, regardless of their age. So now I'm going to just kind of let that go for a moment. GCW Obo says, ironically, you're condemning God for judging cultures that were literally sacrificing children to their gods. Those fuckers, right? If justice against that level of evil is immoral, then what would justice look like? Okay. GCW Obo. So you're saying God was condemning them for sacrificing their children to their gods. That was his problem. You know Moses? Have you ever heard of Moses? Exodus chapter 13. Exodus, God talking to Moses. No, this is going to be a full circle. You're going to love this. Get ready to jack off on this one. Exodus 13, 1 and 2. So here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to show you. And you're going to be like, no. And you're going to be like, oh shit. Okay, so here's what happens. God tells Moses, the fucking part the water Moses, to sacrifice their firstborn children, first breach of the womb, to God. Twice. Exodus. Oh, wait, I'm not done yet. Wait. It gets even better. Then later in Ezekiel, he brags about it. Now, let me show you these things, my ignorant Christian friend. When I say ignorant, I mean this in a loving fashion. There's loving as it can be. This is presuming you don't actually know these things and have already discarded them. So let's learn together. Can we learn together? Now, I want to give you the scripture. You can say I'm taking it out of context. All you wish. Exodus 13, 1 and 2. The Lord said to Moses, consecrate to me every firstborn male. The first offspring of every womb amongst the Israelites belongs to me. Wait, it goes on. Whether human or animal. Let's play that back slower. Exodus 13, 1 and 2. God is telling Moses and the people who have fled Egypt, who are in the forest, to consecrate to him every firstborn son, every breach of the womb, him and every animal, every firstborn breach of the womb, whether human or animal, belongs to God. Now you go look up your Christian apologetics. They've got shit, but it's all bullshit. And if you're smart enough, you'll see through it. But you know what? That's bullshit. That's what it really says. Go look for yourself. Exodus 13, 1 and 2. Now, there's more. No, don't wait. No, just wait. Exodus. Oh, shit. Moses again. Exodus 22. Verses 29 and 30. Do not hold back offerings from your granaries or your vats. You must give to me the firstborn of your sons. Do this. Now you're like, oh, no. You can actually slip a cow in there or a calf in there instead of your son. You don't have to give him your son. You can give him a calf. No, you can't, because calves are also required as part. You must give me the firstborn of your sons. Do the same with your cattle and your sheep. This is God telling Moses and the people who left Egypt to sacrifice their firstborn sons to God. You were saying again, God, for you, ironically, according to GCW Obo, ironically, you're condemning God for judging cultures that were literally sacrificing children to their gods. If justice against that level of evil is immoral, then what would justice even look like? My friend, I just showed you your God creature. Your God, twice in the Bible, telling a person you know of to sacrifice their children. Is that not immoral now? Suddenly, somehow, some way? But I made you a promise, didn't I? I told you I was going to show you 2 examples of where God creature tells them to do it. Now, there are indeed several examples in the Bible where it says to not sacrifice your children. There are a few. Why? Why do they say it so often? Why in the Bible so many other times do they happen to say, don't do that? Why would they do that? It's like, have you heard about in Alabama, they have this law where it's against the law to declaw a bear so you can put it in a traveling circus and make it fight against people? It's against the law. Why is that against the law there, you think? You think it's against the law there maybe because people were doing it? So why are they putting laws in there to not kill their children? Over and over again. To counter the laws where they told them specifically to kill their children. Now, you know the Bible is not a one contiguous story written by a single individual or group, right? It's a bunch of different things. And here you have your God creature right here. One of the biggest names of the Bible. Your God telling them to sacrifice the firstborn sons. Go read it yourself. I'm just the serpent. I give you the truth. You have to go lie to yourself with it. Exodus 22, 29, and 30. Do not hold back the offerings from your granaries or your vats. You must give me the firstborn of your sons. Do the same with your cattle and your sheep. Let them stay with their mothers for 7 days, but give them to me on the 8th day. Now, let's move on to the promised part where God creature literally brags about this. He brags about telling them to kill their own children. Is your God still, are you still there? Is your God, are you still moral? Let's see, even by dictionary definition, concept, no, it doesn't. No. You can go quibble that all you want to. And I said you would, right? You know what it means. You know what it means. And you know what it meant there. And sometimes they talk about redeeming. Yeah, sometimes to redeem is to give something in place of. I'm going to give you this coupon and you give me something. Other times when you redeem something, you redeem it unto the Lord. What does that mean? Looking at you, Jephthah. Anyway, so now here we are. God telling them to sacrifice their own children. Now let's move on again to Ezekiel chapter 20. God is speaking to Ezekiel over and over again. God says, he's telling them about, go read it yourself, my friend, don't listen to me. God is telling them about a story about how his people who were in the forest, who were lost in the forest, and he got pissed off at them for what? Worshiping the gods of their old followers or their parents and shit. Yeah, looking at you, Moses. Looking at you, Moses. He's talking about Moses and the people that were lost in the forest. Ezekiel. In the book of Ezekiel 20:25. So I gave them other statutes that were not good and laws through which they could not live. I defiled them through their gifts, the sacrifice of every firstborn. Did you hear that? Does it say the redemption of? Is that what it says, my friend? Does it say the consecration of? No, it does not, does it? God is telling you right here what he told them. He's telling them. He's telling Ezekiel that they pissed him off and he fucked them up. And you can go read it for yourself. Exodus 13. Exodus 23. What is it? Is it 23? It always sounds more dramatic if I know which. Exodus 13. So, ooh. Okay, I can remember that pornographic number, right? So you got that? Here's Jesus. Here's God creature. Again, God creature bragging about what? What's he bragging about? About having the people he freed from Egypt sacrifice their firstborn children to him. Ezekiel 20, 25, and 26. So I gave them other statutes that were not good and laws through which they could not live. I defiled them through their gifts, the sacrifice of their firstborns. Are you disgusted still? Let me reread your post so we can see how flippy-floppy you're being in the chat. I'm not actually keeping up with your shit because I can't really while I'm ranting, right? But I do have the original post posted here. So let's see how you feel about that now. GCW Obo says, ironically, you're condemning God for judging cultures that were literally sacrificing their children to their gods. If justice against that level of evil isn't immoral, then what would justice even look like? Okay, so I think I've completely and utterly destroyed that. Have I not? Or are you still equivocating in the chat? Right? Your God creature here. Twice it tells them to sacrifice their firstborn. And then it brags about it later. And you're like, God creature doesn't like child. So you're like, oh my God, God is judging cultures for literally sacrificing their children. Sacrificing their children. For God so loved the world that he sacrificed his son. Sacrificing their children. That's exactly what you're talking about. God sacrificed Jesus, his son. How can your brain be so broken that you're sitting here typing in my chat, you're condemning God for judging cultures that were literally sacrificing children to their gods? Jesus is God's son, and he fucking sacrificed him to himself. Brain problems, anybody? Mm-hmm. Were you circumcised at birth? Or did you change your faith for a woman and now she's gone? Or did your sister's lockjaw flare up at the worst possible time?
Guilty as charged.
Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of at-home foreskin restoration kits. It won't cost you an arm and a leg, just an eyelid. Testimonials are already coming in. Mike from Dallas, Texas writes, ever since I got my penis caught in the blender, I haven't felt like a real man, but now I'm back and intact. Thank you, Father Flanagan. Steve from Florida says, I didn't really want my foreskin back, but my wife insisted. We did it and, well, you should see the look on her face. King Kelly writes, wow, getting my foreskin back literally doubled my length. After all these years, I can finally hold my heads high. Thank you, Father Flanagan. Father Flanagan's at-home foreskin restoration kits are part of our Tips for Tots and Adults community outreach program. free eye patch and eye mister with each purchase. You can tell just by the look on his face whether he's packing or he's lacking. Microsurgery available for those extra small jobs. And in case you have any problems, Father Flanagan's highly trained medical staff are ready and waiting for your call.
Oh my God.
I've never seen so much blood.
Thank you, Father Flanagan.
Thank you, Father Flanagan.
Father Flanagan's line of at-home foreskin restoration kits, coming to a Walmart near you. Morning, Wolf Shield. Wolf Shield Fox says, I dare you to start talking about that piece of shit Allah. You mean the same God that the Christians worship? Or are you talking about Muhammad, their prophet? Who, I don't have any love for Muhammad. I don't, or their religion at all. I'm not going to go off here for your entertainment on it. I'm just not. Christians are the ones that are forcing themselves on kids in school, on women in abortion clinics right here in the United States. Christians are the ones who are attacking Muslims in Iran at the behest of Jews in Israel so they can kill Muslims. Yeah, so Christians are my problem right now. When Islam has defeated Christianity, then I will turn my whatever to Islam, if that ever happens. But alas, it has not. Well, I say alas, I don't want it to. Now, Gabby. Good morning, Gabby. Says, you lack right judgment because of your hate. No, you should listen to my words. It's actually right judgment. I mean, people in cults are the ones that are known for being not in right judgment. Anyway, this is, what do you call it? Projection. Thank you, though. By that same token, Bill L. Is that like Kal-El? You're like the Wild Bill from Krypton. I can fly. I'm sorry. I was up late. I was up early. Sorry, Bill. Bill says your perversion of it is mental. And Bill is probably not wrong. But my friends, you should go back and watch what my perversion of it is. Go read. Go back and watch the video. I'm not lying to you. It tells you twice. God tells you to sacrifice your children to God. Then God later brags about it. And then if you're going to go, God hates child sacrifice, and somehow not know that Jesus is a child sacrifice. I mean, were you the same person that quoted John 3:16? For God so loved the world that he did what? What did he do? He performed a child sacrifice. He sacrificed his only begotten son. First breach of the womb, right? Thank you. Let's see. Kelly, if you'd read the Bible, you'd legit see God does. Ooh, I missed it. And my chat's moving. So get that out of the way. Can I see the words? God knew the fall would happen. I missed the words. Words are gone. So then, because I have some pinned, and GCW Obo continued and said, I'm glad the scripture doesn't teach that. What I was talking about was that, yeah, it does, doesn't it? It does teach it, child sacrifice. Doesn't it? Jesus was a child sacrifice. You're not going to deny that Jesus was sacrificed for your sins, are you? But who sacrificed Jesus? Was it his father? Who did he sacrifice him to? Was it also his father? Isn't that weird? Huh. Let's see. Chuck Pike. God knew the fall would happen. God knew he would commit an act of genocide with the flood. He knew all this. The baby killing and suffering was all part of the plan. I think their little screams are like music to him. Anyway, I mean, some of you people don't believe in evolution because of the Bible, because the Bible in Genesis, God created man, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, you're talking about a God that knows everything from beginning to end and created humans. We're gonna have to work. You need to work this out logically. Sit with it as long as you need. He created humans and then regretted creating humans. Wait a second. So you can see the beginning from the end. You know it all. You know everything. You're going to create a group of people that apparently you know are going to become disgusting. And you know you're going to have to murder all them by drowning? What kind of God do you worship? You're weird. Your God creature is weird. Isn't it? Not very reasonable and logical. I think it's funny how some Christians will come in and go, logic proves God. I'm like, no. Apparently you haven't read the Bible. So I hope GC Wobo, I hope you've had hope my words have compelled you to leave your God monster. It is a God monster. Can you not see it? You said, this is what is a disgusting evil creature. I said, look, your disgusting evil creature said it does that. It wants that. It did that. You coming over to my side now? Use your reason, Leonidas. Huh. Boop.
Mi burrito es tan bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco fue no bueno. It stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister. Now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse. There's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno. A full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno. A full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs.
All right, so GCW Obo says over 90% of the recorded wars were not primarily caused by religion. Just for a second, friend, I'm going to give you that. So 10% of the wars in the world were committed by religions of peace and love and mercy. That number alone is horrific, isn't it? Or do you not see it that way? I asked chat, because what do you got right nowadays without running down and doing some form of research? I asked chat how many wars there have been, and how many people have been murdered by Christians. you should go ask the question yourself. First of all, again, that there are any in the name of your God creature. What, Jesus is powerless to do anything about people who use his name incorrectly? Gee, doesn't that say something? Anyway, it kind of fucking freaked out on itself. It's like, dude, there's no fucking way. The honest headline, there's no clean total. Because Christian war is a congested category. It's pretty broad, right? How many fucking Christian are we talking about? The 30 Years' War in 1618 to 1648, 4.5 to 8 million people that started the Catholic Protestant Holy War. You were talking about the Crusades between 1095 and 1291, just those 1 to 3 million, very loosely. We're talking about the European witch hunts, the Inquisition, the Reformation. No, not every war has been caused by religion, but a great many of them have. And in many cases, such as World War II, political leaders used religion and the mindless fools who follow it to their advantage. Remember, the Catholic Church celebrated Hitler's birthday for 50 years after he died. Remember on the German belt buckles, Gott mit uns, which means I like pie. Oh wait, no, that means God is with us. Because if you'll believe shit, if faith is a thing for you, that means you'll believe fucking anything. And religious and political leaders with nefarious purposes have used it often. Look at Trump. Trump bootlicking the Christians for years now because he knows what's coming up. And he's been trying to get the Christians on his side. Matter of fact, oddly enough, it's weird that the Christians, the ones who worship a child sacrifice, Jesus was a child sacrifice, who have, like, for 100 years now at least, and this is only because they're only records, they have been doing the most horrific of things to children. In the 19th and 20th century, you could say, or the 20th and 21st century, you could say, like, the Catholic Church, all those other, but in the 1800s, they had the Indian schools. Have you heard about the Indian schools where they would murder a bunch of Indians and take their kids away from them and raise them up and forbid them to speak their own language and all that? I mean, Christians have been horrific for a very long time. The first conflicts in the United States were between little Christian cults, sects, whatever you want to call them, pilgrims and these other bitches that were being bitches. So, yeah. There's a lot of wars out there. And now one thing, in case you're trying to go there, I will cut you off early. Man, I didn't miss the chat. You probably didn't type it 30 times. Atheists have not started wars in the name of atheism. It's just not happened. You will not find it. Stalin and them were, that was more like a competition for power. You should go look that up. It's difficult to explain. If Mao and them were atheists, go find me their flags that say we're doing this in the name of atheism. You just won't. Did Pol Pot kill millions of people? Yeah. Was he an atheist? Maybe. I don't really know. I'm not aware. I don't know him terribly personally. Did he do it for atheism? If you think he did, you've been misled. You really have. He did not. Bad people do bad shit. He didn't do it in the name of atheism. But many, 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 many wars have been committed in the name of your God. Hold on. I'm sorry. To be fair. To be closer to, many, 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 many. Many, 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 many wars have been committed in the name of your God, who apparently is powerless to do anything about it. Isn't that odd? Eugenics was motivated by evolution. The propagandors believed the weak should be eliminated from society, from the human race to survive. I don't even know why. Is that like a jab at science? Bad people will do bad shit, right? You know, I mean, and you're not wrong. I think eugenics is actually kind of based on evolution and science. It's kind of a proof in the pudding if you want to, but their deal was they were trying to find things. They went to look for things. If you want to say people of color, black people are better than white people, or white people are better than brown people, or brown people are better than Chinese people, etc. I mean, you'll find a way to figure out how. You know, I mean, yeah, you'll absolutely. White people, in general, absolutely are better than everybody else at this. But you know what? Fuck that. Who gives a shit about that? Black people are better at everyone else at this. And therefore, they are superior. Well, but wait. Asian people, they're better. You know, where does it end and where does it begin? If you have that kind of problem, you just want to hate. That's kind of what the Bible teaches, though, isn't it? The 3 cases are atheists starting war. I don't think that's right. I mean, well, just without knowing more about what you're saying, let me kind of clear some of this out. The point being made was that even if they were atheists, they weren't doing it in the name of atheism. That's not what they're, I mean, you go Stalinism and Russia back then, they had this thing. They had a thing. It wasn't, just trust me. Go look, don't trust me. I'm a liar on the internet. Go look. Go look. It wasn't because of atheism. Please don't think it was. Please don't believe the lies. Be smart. Go look. But the number of people killed in the name of just for Jesus. If you want to talk all of the Abrahamic religions, ooh, now we're getting into some heavy numbers, aren't we? And oddly enough, most of their numbers are against other people who believe in the same God. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? If you don't know, in case you don't know, the people who worship in Islam, Allah is Yahweh. I mean, and that's complicated too. It's really not complicated. It's complicated, but the essence of the story is that they're called Abrahamic religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, because they all descend from Abraham. Abraham, the guy of the song I just played about, you know, the guy who gave his sister wife to the Pharaoh, because Abraham was a good, upstanding person. And he had the protection of the Lord, so he was terrified that the Pharaoh was going to kill him because his elderly wife was so beautiful. That's why the lady in the video is so old. You've read the story, right? Genesis chapter 12. You should go read that. Fun read. But all of your religions, Christianity, Islam, and all that descend from Abraham, the guy who, like I just said, gave his sister wife to the Pharaoh and she got a disease. The same guy who raped his slave, had a baby from that slave, abused the slave. The slave ran away. The God creature told her to go back. She went back. And then he kept that slave and her baby around until he had his own baby from his own wife. And that baby was off the nipple, I think is how that worked. Once that was happened and the baby was weaned, Abraham of the Abrahamic religions pitched his slave baby mama and her son out into the desert to die. Right from the beginning, these religions have hurt children. Right from the beginning. Abraham, father of the Abrahamic religion. Abraham. Tossing his own rape slave and her baby. Now, you don't have to believe me. Go read it. That's like Genesis. I don't remember what Genesis chapter that is, like 16 or 17 or 18. Go read it. Don't believe me. Remember, I am the serpent. And the serpent tells you the truth. Remember? God creature is the one that lies. Remember? Anyway, let's do. What do you guys want? Go scented flesh candles? Listen, have you sinned lately? Yes, but you don't have a goat to sacrifice to the evil god monster of Abraham? Well, as Father Flanagan's got a product for you.
Have you sinned again? Oh, and it's bad this time. A chicken just won't do. But wait, you don't have a goat for your burnt offering. Oh no, the Lord's wrath is upon you.
Insignificant person whose name I don't know, you have sinned. Probably. I shall smite thee.
What do? You're all out of goats. She left you for another man.
Fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles.
No goat? No problem. Just light one of these bad boys and let the sweet, savory scent of burning goat flesh rise up to the heavens.
Is that goat?
It's easy, it's fast, and deluxe models even have patented technology that produces a goat screaming sound as the wick burns.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented candles. Save a goat, burn a candle.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles are part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program.
When you sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. When the Lord requires that pungent smell, light a candle or you're going to hell.
All right, bear with me. I'm noshing on a cookie. I do that. It offends some people. I've discovered that people who are offended by things like that, they tend to have a really large, what do you call it? Disgust response. And those people very often tend to be the exact opposite kind of people I want to be around in every other aspect of their lives. If you'll know. Anyway. So I'm a liar, huh? The serpent lied? So I'm going to use your God's book, if you're still there, to prove to you the serpent did not lie and that the God creature did in fact lie. Would you like to go down that road with me? It's fun. It's fun. So I'm the liar, and you think the serpent lied to Adam and Eve. Okay. Let me share this with you. I'm sorry, this is the Bible, so it may offend some people. Here and studio. Okay, and then add to scene. Okay, can you hear me? I hope you can hear me, and that is highlighted, and we're in the studio. Okay, so here we are, my friends. Now, the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, we may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die. Okay? Don't touch tree, eat tree, die. Can y'all hear me? I hope y'all okay. No touch tree, eat tree, die. Serpent says, you will certainly not die. For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good from evil. Okay? Okay. So, they ate the fruit. We go on. The man, so they ate the fruit. Here, let me just start up here. You will certainly. So when the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good food and pleasing to the eye, she ate some. And she immediately died. Oh, wait. No, she didn't die. She did not die. Wait. She did not die. So God said, you would not eat from the tree. You do not touch it or you will die. The serpent said, you will not die. They did not die. Okay. So God lied. God said you would die. Satan said you would not die. They did not die. Point one. Point one to be made. Point one to Satan. Okay. Now let's go on. Bum, where are you? I heard you in the garden. God, for some reason, the omniscient creature didn't know where they were. Weird. Didn't know they were being corrupted by the serpent. Weird. Anyway, when God said, what the fuck? Why did you do this? The woman who was innocent and didn't know shit, right? She didn't know right from wrong. and who was not there when God said that. She actually got that from, nope. Adam said, when he found out God was mad, the woman you put here with me, she gave me some from the fruit, and I ate it. So Bus meet Eve, Eve meet Bus. Anyway, why have you done this? The serpent deceived me. Wait, the serpent did not deceive her, though. Hold on. He says, you have done this. She'll crawl on the ground because he's mad. To the woman, he said, I will make your pain in childbirth, and we'll get over this. We'll come back to this in a little bit. And then the Lord made garments, and the Lord said, the man has now become like, wait a second. Wait, Christians, don't leave God. And then the Lord God said, the man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Wait a second. Wait. That's exactly what Satan said God would say. That's why that's what Satan said. God did not want them to eat the fruit from the tree. You must not eat from the tree. And Satan said, certainly you will not die. For God knows what? That your eyes will be opened and you will be like us. So here we go, down at the bottom. God says, the man has now become like one of us, knowing good from evil. Okay, so therefore, that's a lie. God lied. The serpent was telling the truth. Let me go this right here. Hold on just a second. I'm going to go here and here. So let's go. It's still over on the other side. Anyway, I hope you can see it right there. God lied. The serpent did not lie. The serpent did not lie. He was telling the truth. But there's more. Hold on. Let me put it back up on the screen for those of you on the horizontal. So, God, now I know in the chat, you're probably going off, well, they were going to, I'm going to do that right there. They were going to die. They were never going to die. They weren't going to die. But now what God meant was that now that they've eaten the fruit, they will now eventually die. There will be a lifespan. They will have a lifespan. My Christian friends, that is not true. It's not true. And God himself tells you so. Right here at the bottom, in this same chapter, he says, or the same down here in the same verse, he says, the man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and live forever. See, so Adam and Eve they were not going to live forever. They were not. They were already going to die. They had a time span, a limit. And by God telling them Satan said they weren't going to die. And he was telling them the truth. By eating the apple, they did not die. God lied. They did not die. They were already going to die. They had a lifespan. They were already going to die. God lied. Yes. The serpent told them right here, for God knows that when you eat of, your eyes will be open and you will be like God, knowing from good and evil. God admits this right here. The man has now become like us, knowing good from evil. Right there. God lied to Adam and Eve. The serpent was the honest one. The serpent one who said, you won't die. Your eyes will be opened. And guess what? They were. They were open. So that's the whole thing right there in a nutshell. God lied. The serpent was telling the truth. You know, I could even hear the Christians in the chat. No, they were not going to die. They were going to have eternal life. And then they did this, and now they're going to die like God said. And I guess you just never got to that next scripture, did you? That next line where it tells you, yeah, they were going to die. The only thing, man, we just can't let them eat from that tree now. Because if they eat from that tree, the bitches, we told them not to eat from this tree, and they did. Can't trust them around that other tree, can we? Which tree was that? What tree was it? It was the tree of eternal life. So they were going to die. He lied. God lied. Interesting. Let's see. He was talking about the very moment. No, he wasn't. Oh, well, yeah. Either way. Yeah. I'm not sure. I can't really say what you're saying, talking about. Let me stop and see if I can read. He was talking about the very moment they eat the fruit, you won't die, and then said, you see, you didn't die, and then God started, they shall live 120 years. See, that's kind of the thing. That's what you're thinking, isn't it? That's what you're thinking. That they had unlimited numbers beforehand, but they didn't. They didn't. Nope. They had a limit on their numbers. May have been higher, but there was a limit. God maybe marked it down to 120, if that's the case. But there was still a limit. Had there not been a limit, why bother mentioning the tree of eternal life at all? Right? Isn't that interesting? They were trying to give reasons, existence of death, bird, pain, and weed. Right. So we were talking about certain things, about the Bible not being true and all that. And there was somebody in the chat earlier saying, how Bible is anti-evolution or something? Prove the Bible is... that's a matter of literal speaking. Man, if you're there, you know who you are, because I saw your chat. The Bible, that's just a matter of who you're talking to. Really, as to which stories are true, which one is what. It's just, let me try to catch up with the chat a little bit if I can. Tony Hype, Chris forgot Satan tempted Jesus with his own words. Wait a second, Jesus is God. Jesus is God. Jesus is the perfect man. How can he be tempted with anything? Isn't that weird? Jesus is the same creature that created the entire 2+ trillion galaxy universe. He's ancient upon years that is just incomprehensible to us. He is lives outside our pendulum, our galaxy, our universe, Jesus and God. And he was tempted? That just sounds stupid when you say it like that, doesn't it? Interesting. Isn't that funny how Satan is so powerful and God and Jesus are so weak? Don't you ever get that? Jesus, God, was man. Jesus is God and was man. So what sacrifice was there? Big deal sacrifice, right? If Jesus was God, fuck, you're not going to kill a God. Jesus. You even watch all right. So picture this. Picture this. Thor. From the movies, from Marvel movies, in all of his whatever he's got going on, just like he is. Imagine him going through what Jesus allegedly went through. The whips, the nails, all that. I mean, we've seen him take worse in the movies, haven't we? Really, much, much, much worse. Our imagination can conjure people who can take worse than Jesus took. And this is somehow a sacrifice. Jesus was, this is God. This is God. And it's a sacrifice for your sins, to forgive it from himself, because he's going to talk to himself and be mad at himself if he doesn't get blood from you. None of that makes sense. None of it. You've just been programmed with indoctrination from childhood, probably. Chuck Pike, good morning. Let's see. Jesus is God. Again, man, every time you say Jesus is God, you've got to say Jesus murdered babies. Jesus commanded Moses to take child rape slaves. Let me see. What verse is that? Do you want me to go get that one for you? Let me go get that for you. I'm not really good at finding, so I don't know why I even bother asking that fucking thing. It's stupid. What? I even have that listed. Now, I don't know if you know this, but in the virgin slave story where they're like, keep this virgins for yourselves, like 10 or so % of those were given to what? What was a good percentage of the virgin sex slaves who were taken in combat? Who were they given to? The priests, huh? Interesting that. God verse, okay. Let's see if that right there. Numbers 31. Moses. Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah. They don't like the Old Testament today. Oh, my goodness. And I see why. I mean, goodness gracious. You're a God creature from the Old Testament. Fucking horrific. And the Jesus from the New Testament, my friends, is essentially just saying, listen, if you believe in the God creature through me, I'm his salesman, through me, you'll get into heaven, a place where that God from the Old Testament is not pissed. That's the sales pitch. If you don't, though, you're going to the place where that God creature is pissed. Have you read the Bible? You remember when Jesus says, I mentioned it earlier, where Jesus mentions twice that he's going to come back and murder everybody, billions of people? Remember that? Man, woman, and child, Jesus. He's going to come back and murder billions of people. Let me just see here. Sarah gave Abraham a slave trade. That's right. We mentioned that earlier. Now, wait a second. Wait. Chuck, I do. Man, once again, I appreciate you. Chuck, you're awesome. Did Sarah really give her rape slave or her slave to Abraham? Or does it make more sense that Abraham, being the patriarch and the person almost certainly, if there was one that could write, was essentially telling his side of the story, and he took her slave, not the wife gave her slave, you know, like the story of Lot. Lot is the story of Lot and his daughters is like, man, dude, you went up into that cave with your daughters and now you're back and they're both pregnant. It was just you there. Oh man, dude, they got me drunk, man. They got me drunk. There was nothing I could do. They got me so drunk, I didn't know what was happening, but I still managed to get it up. And they got me so drunk that I didn't know what was happening. I still managed to get it up, but I was potent and virile every time. Who wrote that story? Did the girls write that story? Yes, we were so stupid that because we were briefly sent to a cave, we thought that we were never going to have husbands, so we raped our he was elderly, by the way, elderly father. We got him so drunk, our elderly father didn't get whiskey dick. He couldn't remember having sex with his daughters. Interesting stuff. That's fun for the whole family, apparently. So let me see what else is going on. It's yes, no, gave you an answer. Yeah, man, you guys got a lot going on in the chat. There are horrors in the world, but what good is hate with the coffee? The laughter gets us through the tough times. You know, that's not wrong. There was a time, wasn't there? Wasn't there? When they weren't just all up at our fucking grill, running our country, where Christians weren't as offensive as they are now. If you're out in the chat and you're a gay person and they're threatening your marriage, or if you're out in the chat and you're a trans person and you used to have a lifelong career that you lost because Christians got into office and your way of life offended them and they kicked you out of the military, you probably know what I'm talking about. There was a time when we didn't have to be so against these people. But here we are. You know, DCJL says, without God, atheists have nothing to believe in. Even with God, I mean, there's nothing there. So, yeah. I just Adam and Co come from apes. Jesus created humans. He created you. No, Jesus didn't. I mean, that's the whole deal, Jake. Did Jesus? If Jesus created me, then Jesus was around before the Old Testament. Is that what you're telling me? Jesus was around. His is the first, the voice. His is the opening voice. Jesus. Okay. So Jesus did all the horrific things from the Old Testament. That's what you have to acquiesce to. Jesus, loving, meek and mild, forgiving and forgiving. Jesus. He's the one who, whenever the ancient Hebrew people who were wandering in the desert after leaving Egypt, he's the one, whenever they complained because all he was feeding them was manna and they got sick of it and they complained, he sent snakes to sting them. This is your Jesus, right? Exodus 13, we were talking about earlier, where your Jesus commands your Moses. Was it Exodus 13? What was that one I was looking at? Exodus, damn it. Leviticus 18:12? No. Numbers 31, 18, 17, and 18, Deuteronomy, where Moses says Moses was pissed off. Let me do this. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones. Oh my. Is that Moses? Let me go look. Is that Moses? Who is that talking? Who talking? Who dat? Let's go copy over here. You probably don't want to listen to this. It's Moses. Just a bunch of shit, really. It's just lies. It's really, if you're not programmed by it and you're not indoctrinated and you look at this stuff, you're like, oh my God, this is so disgusting. I mean, it's just. The Lord said to Moses, take vengeance on the Midianites for the Israelites. After that, you will be gathered to your people. So Moses said to the people, arm some of your men to go to war against the Midianites so that they may carry out the Lord's vengeance on them. Send into battle 1,000 men, blah, 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 blah. So 12,000, blah, 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 blah. The son of the priest, blah, 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 blah. They fought against Midian as the Lord commanded Moses and killed every man. Among their victims were Evi, Rekem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian. They also killed Balaam, son of Beor, with the sword. The Israelites captured the Midianite women and children and took all the Midianite herds, flocks, and goods as plunder. Verse 10. They burned all the towns where the Midianites had settled, as well as all their camps. They took all their plunder and spoils, including all people and animals, and brought the captives, the spoils, and the plunder to Moses and Eleazar, the priests and the Israelites assembled at their camp. Ish. Moses, Eleazar, the priest, and all the leaders of the community went to meet them outside the camp. Moses. Now, friends, you know who Moses is, right? Moses, the story, he was a little baby. Mom put him in the water or something in Egypt, and he ended up going on and saving all the Jews from the Israelites from the Egyptians, and they fled into the desert. And he led them to the promised land. This is Moses, right? You know Moses, the golden calf, Moses? Is that Moses? Yeah. Moses. You like Moses, right? He's a sweet guy. Moses, Eleazar, the priests, and all the leaders of the community went to meet them outside the camp. Moses was angry with the officers of the army, the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds who returned from the battle. He's mad at the commanders of his armies. A lot of them. Verse 15. Have you allowed the women to live? He asked them. They were the ones who followed Balaam's advice and enticed the Israelites to be unfaithful to the Lord in the Peor incident, so that a plague struck the Lord's people. Now kill all the boys and kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save for yourselves every girl who has never slept with a man. 2 things. 1, God is telling you to take little girls as sex slaves. You can't argue that's not the case. Later on, there's 2 different scriptures where it tells you how to do it, gives you instructions. And 2, if you were raised up believing Moses was some sort of good, holy person, are you anti-abortion? Are there any anti-abortion Christians in the chat? Any? May I see some show of hands? Any anti? Are you out there thinking us atheists eat babies or some shit? Anti-abortion? Show of hands. Moses is angry at his army for not killing pregnant women. For not putting them to the sword. Do you need time to think with that for a minute? Moses, cute little Moses, the baby in the bundle in the river. Cartoon story. Yeah, same Moses whose God is so impotent and weak that he commands his people to go murder babies. You think God won't, when Jesus comes back in the end in Revelation, whenever I said earlier, he's going to come back and he's going to kill billions of people, including babies. He's going to kill every Muslim and every Muslim baby out there. You're like, oh, why did Jesus want to do that? Matthew, let's go back to here. Matthew, where he says he will. He says he's coming back. Matthew, he's going to come back and he's going to murder everyone who doesn't. That's the wrong one. Everyone who does sin and is evil. Everybody who's not a Christian. Who is not the right kind of Christian, in fact. Matthew 13. The Son of Man will send out his angels and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin, and all who do evil they will be thrown into the blazing furnace where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. He says it twice in Matthew 13. Twice he says it. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the blazing furnace where there will be weeping of teeth, weeping and gnashing of teeth. They're not going to spare the children unless they plan to rape them later. Let's look at Moses, prophet of the Bible. Jesus saying he's going to come back and murder everybody who doesn't believe correctly. Moses telling you how they do it. Showing you how they do it. And some Christians might be, well, they sacrifice their children by Moloch. Well, that doesn't matter. You're wrong. Oh, God doesn't like child sacrifices by fire. Well, I don't know. Jephthah would disagree. His daughter would disagree. The God who was apparently there, because it's in his holy book, did nothing to stop it. Did everything to facilitate it. It's essentially like the command says, listen, I tell you what, if you give me this battle, whatever I give unto you whenever I get home, whatever comes out to greet me first, I will give to you. God made the choice as to what came out first. Didn't he? And what was it that came out first? It was Jephthah's daughter. This is a test for Jephthah. Really, bitch? You asked for something big. You're going to have to give something big. Your daughter's Hyman, not the rest of your daughter. Doesn't matter. She's a virgin, though, and that's very valuable coin-wise. So you're going to have to give up your daughter and burn her. It's like throwing away like really good money, just burning a million fucking dollars just to the right there, because it's not her person that matters. It's her hymen, of course, obviously. Weak men are the ones who have an issue with God. No, weak men are the ones who need a God to lean on. You're just a simp for God. Is there a godly boot to lick? Go lick that boot. Isn't there like a trans person or a gay person or something around that you should be oppressing somewhere? DC jail? I mean, hey, look, there's a trans person trying to live their life. Go do the Christian thing. John Patrick says, are you going to be a weeper or a gnasher? What are you going to be, John? I'll weep and gnash with you. We'll weep and gnash together. I plan on screaming in like F or F sharp. Ah! Sort of like that. Are you going to scream with me, John? Will you scream in unison with me? And you're like, I'm not going to be screaming because I'm a Christian. But you're going to burn in hell too. I mean, almost all of you are. There's a very few that aren't. Jesus is very specific about that. Do you think you're one of the group that's not? That's so cute. You're so cute. Oh, it's time for me to go. I got stuff to do that's not here. I think you guys are wonderful. Let's see. Tim Afola. Keep on seeking, keep on knocking, keep on asking, and humble yourself. Stop insulting God to believers and ask for help. Tim, listen, man, Tim. You need to keep knocking. Keep asking. You have been programmed probably since childhood, to believe this is all makes sense and it's all right. It's good, but it's not. It's all a bunch of shit. So you need to keep seeking. You can get free. You're in a cult, right? You know it's a cult. It's a cult. It's a blood cult, in fact. It's a blood cult. Washed in the blood of... Have you been washed clean by Jesus' blood? Did Jesus shed his blood for you? You're in a blood cult. It sucks to find out now. But yeah. And you need to... See, here's the deal. You think I need to humble myself before the Lord. But you're the one that needs humility. If you're the one that thinks you have a God creature and you're somehow its favorite, it's real and it even knows you exist. Let me ask you, how do you feel about each individual bacteria in your stomach? Do you get mad when one of them cheats on the other? When a bacteria in your belly masturbates too often, what do you do about it? Do you care? One of us needs to be humble. You guys, I'm gonna play y'all a funny. Do you want a funny before I go? Do you want the pup? Or do you want the holy halos? Would you like holy halos? I can give you holy halos. Yeah, Father Flanagan's has got a wonderful line of products. More to come, obviously, including Father Flanagan's Insta-Jew. Just pull out the slack, give it a whack. That's a new selling thing, new product line coming up. Let's do, though, holy halos. Are you down? Oh, wait a second. Oh, cute. I got a cute one here real quick. Oh, man. Dude, don't move. Please don't move. Dude says trans people didn't exist. Somebody in the chat says trans people didn't exist. Son of a bitch. And the chat rolled up. Sorry. Hey, I want to tell you something real quick. You need to go look it up. Have you ever heard that? There's a quote about Jesus talking about being a eunuch. You know, if you've got the will and you can become a eunuch for your God, if you've got that kind of commitment, you should make that commitment. Jesus says that. He says, there are men in the world who are made eunuchs by other men. For example, I'm a king. You want to be a guard of the queen, so we're going to make you a eunuch so you can guard the queen because we don't trust you. That's a eunuch being made by another man. You know, a man without a penis. And some people are made eunuchs by themselves, making their commitment to God. I need you to go back and look at this and know that I'm not fucking with you. Jesus says, and some eunuchs are born that way. Now, they obviously didn't call them trans people back then, did they? It'd be stupid of you to think, oh, they didn't use the word trans people. Of course they didn't. But Jesus right there is saying they are natural born eunuchs, naturally men without penises. Jesus. Now, you have to remember, though, my homophobic piece of shit Christian friends, Jesus did go on to say, and you have to persecute and hunt down all those eunuchs who were born natural. No, that's not what he said. He didn't say that. Matter of fact, he didn't say anything at all. He said there are eunuchs who are made that way by other people. Eunuchs who are born naturally. I think this is the, in fact, order that he went that way. Natural born eunuchs, trans people. Natural. And there are eunuchs who are willing to take that commitment to their Lord. That's what he said. So he addressed the issue and went on. You should too. I'm going to give you guys some holy halos. And then whenever I get back, I'll say bye and we'll do the thing. Next up in the bark bank, a clergyman with a holy hustle and maybe a few unholy loopholes.
Hi, Barks. Blessings and belly rubs to you all. I'm Father Flanagan, and today I'm here seeking $50,000 for 3% of my soul-saving startup, Holy Halos, the world's first, soon-to-be, church-approved condoms. Following the ways of the Lord can be hard and often require sacrifices of the flesh. Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of Holy Halo condoms.
Hold on, Father. The church very much doesn't like condoms. How do you expect to sell these?
Well, you're right, but these aren't just any condoms. No, my furry financiers, these are permeable, but every single halo has been dipped in holy water, a divine divider between you and sin. You can finally frolic freely and still keep that sweet spot in heaven. Permeable, but dipped in holy water to keep the sin out, but let the babies in.
Let you get your stick wet without getting your stick stuck.
If you know what I mean.
Oh my! Very embarrassing every time.
So basically, they don't work as condoms, but they let you get away with having sex without going to hell?
Exactly. The church gets to keep making babies, but you don't have to keep going to confession. Think of it. No more guilt. No more awkward "I'm saving myself for marriage" speeches. With holy halos, you can take those pray hands and turn them into lay hands.
Didn't I read that holy water is full of bacteria like E. coli? Won't this be harmful to women's health?
The words are English, but I don't understand the question.
How are you addressing the issue holy water presents for women's health?
Again, I'm not understanding.
She does that. Well, we don't get it either.
Is that mesh from a window screen?
Ah, that's a keen eye you have there, young lass. Yes. Another fine selling point, rough on the outside to increase her shame, as it should be. But soft and smooth on the inside, internally lubed and ribbed for his pleasure. We even have custom scents.
Scents? Now you have my attention. What flavors we talking? Don't pitch me that vanilla missionary nonsense, Padre.
Well, we do have virgin vanilla, but we also have miracle mint and cooing camel, and my personal favorite, sweat of the Savior.
And the Vatican, they've blessed this endeavor?
Well, not exactly. I'm still waiting on the papal decree one way or the other.
I love it, but you're asking 50 grand for only 3%. That's rough, Father, real rough.
Not running with the big dogs on this one. I'm gonna stay on the porch.
Me too. Good luck, Father. 15%.
Ouch, 15%, that's highway robbery even for the church.
Come on, Father, we're dogs. We know a bone when we see one. 10%, and we'll even bless your branding.
Look, meet me in the middle, 7%, and I'll baptize all your puppies.
7% worse for me. Father Flanagan, it looks like
Wait a second. Our producers say we have a special call-in bidder. Let's get him up on the screen. Folks, we have the guardian of the sacred fire hydrant himself.
Oh no.
Defender of the holy tennis ball and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poops a Lot the fifth.
Flanagan!
Yes, your poetry.
50,000 at 20%.
20%?
And you get to keep calling yourself a father.
Sold to the pup in the very fine hat.
I knew you'd see it my way.
You're very wise, your hiney. Would there be anything else?
You may leave.
Father Flanagan's line of holy halos, ultra thin, spiritually thick. Available in 3 sizes: conservative, medium, and liberal. All right, we are back. Now, I want to mention something here. Mario Hit says, eunuchs were not cross-dressing perverted freaks. I want to say, whenever you talk about who's perverted and who's not perverted, you're like, oh, girls and women, they just want to be going into girls' bathrooms. You know what? That's not what happens. It's not trans people who go into girls' bathrooms pretending to be women. It's men that do that. Yeah, straight, regular men. Yeah, they're the ones that are caught doing shit like that. Yeah, go look. There are more conservative politician men caught tapping their foot in an airport bathroom than there are trans people doing what you claim and being a pervert. And so really you're just being a bigot. And almost certainly just because you want to. There's no evidence for it. I just actually literally gave you a scripture where Jesus acknowledged trans people as best as they would back then. And what would they wear? Would they wear women's clothes, men's clothes? Depending on how they looked to society, how they felt. And you're the arbitrary judge of that. You get to decide that. You get to decide what's okay and what's perverted. See where that gets kind of weird? You're not weird by that at all? I mean, when you think about it like that, kind of, anyway. Let's go here. DCL says, without God, there is no damn show. Tim says, our trustworthy McLegitimate says, Tim, you believe your God would avatar himself as Jesus to commit sorcery and assault and get executed as a criminal? He contributed nothing and he died. Yeah, the whole story doesn't make sense. You've just been programmed from childhood to think it makes sense. A God creature had to sacrifice itself for who? To who? For why? To itself. For why? Because it would get mad at itself if it didn't ask for blood. Isn't that weird? Tony Hype says, wait a second, I'm sorry. Ty Cost says, you will sin anyway. See, sin is what is sin? Sin is a perspective. Sin is what? Sin is something that a God creature says is bad. God says, don't do that. If you do it, it's a sin, right? There's no law saying what is a sin. A sin is only what that God creature likes or doesn't like, right? So you're going to sin no matter what, aren't you? Here's the catch, though. You are a horrible, filthy, filthy sinner, according to Quetzalcoatl, the ancient Aztec god who they used to cut their heads off and roll them off. Quetzalcoatl, I'm sorry if it wasn't you, if it's somebody else, I'm sorry, man. Don't smite me. Yeah, you just wait until you die. Quetzalcoatl's fucking pissed. That sound weird to you? Now, on to Tony Hype one more time before I go. Tony says, Paul's letters are irrefutable. Even the atheist scholars have to admit his writings are accurate history. No. Let's work together, though, on this, okay? We can admit that Paul was almost possibly certainly a real single person. Yeah, a lot of his letters indicate they look like they came from a single kind of person. Not all of them, but a lot of them. True. Yep. Did a real person live back then? Possibly. Who wrote those things? Obviously. Did they live back then? So if there was a pharaoh back there, or if there was a king back there, they may have mentioned that because they lived back there, right? So it makes sense. Some of it actually makes sense. Yep. However, Paul never met Jesus. Not once. Not once. Paul, on the road to Damascus, had a vision of Jesus. So you're essentially listening to Paul's imagination. What Paul, a single man, says happened. Oh, 500 people watched Jesus rise somebody from the dead. Really? Who were they? Can you give us names, number? No, just an arbitrary number of 500 people. Any proof, Paul? No. No proof at all. None. Paul never met Jesus. What the fuck does Paul's word mean? What does it mean? Who gives a shit what he says? He's like fucking the Joel Osteen. He's the Jim Jones, the Brigham Young, you know what I mean? What do you give a fuck what Paul said? He never met Jesus. Did Paul celebrate the Passover? Jesus did. Interesting. You'll answer those questions. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you'll equivocate to all kinds of shit. You know, the whole deal about Paul he never met Jesus. I don't really think that you have any argument from that on. You really don't. I mean, you may think you do. And you can go get, oh yes, this scholar agrees that Paul wrote this. Fuck, I don't give a shit that Paul wrote it. I don't care. I don't care if Paul wrote it, if he wrote it down in fucking gold. I don't care if he had a capuchin monkey on his fucking shoulder typing it out in Braille. I don't give a fuck. He never met Jesus. Even by his own words, he never met Jesus. Never met Jesus. At best, he spent a couple of weeks with Peter. At best. You have a longer relationship with the person at the counter of your convenience store than Paul allegedly had with Peter. So Paul never met Jesus. Never. So nothing he says matters. And especially considering that it doesn't line up with what Jesus taught. What Paul teaches does not line up with Jesus taught. That's it. Again, you remember whenever Jesus healed the leper in what was it? Don't tell me. It was Mark chapter 1. Jesus healed that leper and he said, yes, you believe in me and your sins are free. Oh, no, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. Jesus told the leper to go to the temple, get with the priests, and perform the right sacrifices. Jesus said that. Jesus' last meal was Passover. Jesus was celebrating Passover. Do you, my Christian friends, celebrate Passover? Funny whenever you apply logic and reason, isn't it? All right, guys, I'm off to save the world. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you all for your time. Christians, thank you for sacrificing your time. Now, go get this time back. Go get it back. Can you go get this time back? Go get this time that you have spent with me and go spend that time that you spent with me already. Go spend that with your family. You can't, can you? Because you sacrificed it. Because you don't get shit back when you sacrifice it, do you? Sin safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booths, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace.